Hi students, this is A. Srinivas, lecturer in physics, Vignan Junior College. We are discussing waves chapter from last 4 videos. We completed 4 videos in waves chapter. Now in this video we discuss about the beats. So the contents that we are going to discuss in this video are: first one is stationary waves in closed pipe. In previous video we completed the stationary waves in open pipe. Then one more case is stationary waves in a closed pipe. Resonance column operators is one example of a closed pipe which is useful to find the velocity of sound in air medium. Then we discuss how to find velocity of the sound by using resonance column operators. Next one is the beats. So beats has so many applications in our day-to-day life. When two nearly equal frequencies interfere with each other, forms a regular waxing and waning of the sound. At regular intervals of time we hear a loud sound and a sharp low sound. Loud and low sounds are heard in equal intervals of time. That is said to be beats. So we will define the beats and we analyze the beats, mathematical analysis of the beats, expression for beats and uses of beats, and some problems, numericals belongs to the concepts of beats. So let us move on to the first content, that is stationary waves in closed pipe. Already we clearly discussed about formation of stationary waves in open pipe. Now this is the time to discuss about the closed pipe. Here a argon pipe which is made up of a metal having uniform area of cross section, which is open at one end and closed at the other end, is known as a closed pipe. See the diagram. This is a pipe in form of uniform area of cross section in cylindrical shape, which is open at one end and closed at other end. This is considered as the closed pipe. Let us see the first harmonic of the frequencies formed in the closed pipe in form of stationary wave pattern. We know that we discussed already, at open end of the pipe there is a free movement of vibration of the particles, hence always displacement antinode is formed at the open end. Displacement antinode forms at open end, and there is no such free movement of the particles at the closed end. So closed end always gives a node for stationary waves formed in closed pipe. Let us consider the formation of stationary waves in closed pipe in its fundamental mode, also known as the first harmonic. If sound wave is generated here by using any source like a tuning fork, the sound is generated and generated sound wave undergoes compressions and rarefactions and passes through the pipe. At the other end the sound wave get reflected, a reflected sound wave moves upwards. These two sound waves of same frequency, same wavelength, is same speed, same amplitude, traveling in opposite direction, interfere each other and forms a stationary wave pattern. That is known as stationary waves of closed pipe. Let us see the first way of forming stationary waves in the first harmonic. This is the way. As we discussed, always antinode is formed at the open end and node is formed at the closed end. Closed end produces nodes, open end produces antinode. Here length of the pipe is L. Here in this case we write the length of the pipe. This is the length of the pipe. Here let L be the length of the pipe, students. This is the L value, which is length of the pipe. L, let we consider pipe of length L. Okay, then this is antinode formed at the top, and this is the node formed at the closed end. And here we have successive antinode and node in first mode of vibration. Then distance between successive antinode and node is known as lambda by 4. So this is equal to first frequency, first harmonic, so wavelength is lambda 1 by 4, lambda 1 by 4. Okay. This length of the pipe in first mode of vibration, first harmonic is equal to lambda 1 by 4. So L is equal to lambda 1 divided by 4. On cross multiplying, lambda 1 is equal to 4L. Then frequency in first harmonic N1, the frequency in first harmonic N1 is equal to V by lambda 1. V is the velocity of sound, lambda 1 is wavelength. N1 is equal to V by lambda 1. So lambda 1 is 4L. Then N1 is equal to V by 4L. This is the frequency of first harmonic in closed tube. Whereas in open tube, already we derived in the previous video that frequency in first harmonic is V by 2L. Now the expression is V by N1 is equal to V by 4L. So once again look into it. In first mode of vibration, stationary waves is formed such that antinode at free end and successive node at closed end. Distance between these two is lambda by 4. So length of the tube is lambda 1 by 4. Lambda 1 is 4L. Then frequency expression is V by lambda 1, V by 4L. So let us move on to the second harmonic expression. But here in the second way of approach, one more loop is added to it. So let us see the diagram. So one more loop is added. So one extra loop is added compared to the first harmonic in the next mode. This is the next mode to the first harmonic. Here we are getting, this is antinode and this is node and this is antinode as well as this is node. We are getting three pair of antinode node separations. Three pairs. This is one pair of antinode node. This is second pair of antinode node and this is the third pair of antinode and node. We have three pairs of antinode and node, so that the length becomes 3 lambda by 4. Because of that reason, we get third harmonic but not second overtone. Second harmonic. We doesn't get the second harmonic in case of closed tube. It misses in closed tube. All integral multiples of harmonics does not exist in case of a closed pipe. Students, this is the very important point. This is the difference between open and closed. So in case of a closed tube, next to first harmonic is third harmonic. Next to first harmonic, next mode of vibration is third harmonic, which is also considered to be first overtone, because this is the higher one than the fundamental, so it is a overtone. That's why it is the first overtone. It is 3 times the fundamental ones, hence it comes to as the third harmonic. In third harmonic, one loop is added in stationary wave pattern. So this is antinode, node, antinode and node. Length of the tube is L and the distance between successive antinode and node is lambda by 4. It is in third harmonic lambda 3 by 4. Between this pair of node and antinode, this is one more lambda 3 by 4. This is a third pair of antinode and node. This is lambda 3 by 4. Between two successive antinode and node, the distance of separation is lambda by 4. So we have 3 values of lambda 3 by 4. Therefore, length of the closed tube now becomes 3 times lambda 3 by 4. 3 times lambda 3 by 4. This implies lambda 3 is equal to 4L divided by 3. Total length is 3 times lambda 3 by 4. On cross multiplying, we get lambda 3 is 4L by 3. Then the third harmonic frequency is N3 is equal to V by lambda 3. Replace lambda 3 by 4L by 3. Therefore, N3 is equal to, we get this is 3V by 4L. 3 into V by 4L, which is 3 times fundamental frequency 3N1. Hence, already as it is 3 times fundamental frequency, we put the name third harmonic. That is the reason. So next mode to first harmonic, second harmonic is not possible. it becomes 3 times fundamental frequency. So next to first harmonic in closed tube, only third harmonic is existing, second harmonic is missed in closed tube. So next move on to the another odd number. Only odd numbers of harmonics are possible in closed tube. So let us move on to the next mode, that is fifth harmonic. In the same way, we consider it one as the fifth harmonic or second overtone. So let us consider the same tube. As usual, length of the tube is L. This is the closed tube of same length L. So there is one more loop. For every next to higher mode of vibration, loop number increases by 1. So consider one more loop compared to the third harmonic. So this is the diagram in which the free end is always antinode. Here we have antinode and this is node. At the middle free vibrations are there, maximum amplitude antinode. This is zero vibrations node and this is maximum amplitude antinode and this is node. We have 5 pairs of antinode node separation. 5 pairs. So this is one pair. The distance is lambda 5 divided by 4, fifth harmonic. This is another pair. The distance is lambda 5 divided by 4. This is another pair. Distance is lambda 5 divided by 4. This is another pair. Distance is lambda 5 by 4. This is another pair. Distance is lambda 5 by 4. We have 5 pairs of antinode node separation in fifth harmonic. So lambda 5 by 4 5 times are there. Therefore the length of the closed tube is 5 times lambda 5 divided by 4. From this we write lambda 5 is equal to 4L divided by 5. Lambda 5 is equal to. From this the fifth harmonic frequency N5 is equal to V by lambda 5. Substituting lambda 5 value, that is 4L by 5, we get fifth harmonic frequency is 5 into V by 4L, fifth harmonic frequency. This is N5. So the successive modes of vibration in closed tube are only odd number of harmonics are existing because of forming antinode at open end and closed end has the node at closed end. Because of this reason, only odd number of harmonics are existing. Even number does not exist in closed tube. So that we have first harmonic of frequency N1 is V by 4L. Next one is third harmonic or first overtone. N3 is 3 times fundamental frequency. Next we got fifth harmonic or second overtone N5 5 times V by 4L. Therefore the ratios of harmonics are only odd number values are there. N1 is to N3 is to N5. Ratios of harmonics in closed tube are odd number multiples are there. 1 times N1, 3 times N1, 5 times N1. Here this N5 of course is equal to 5 N1. Therefore N1 is to N2 is to N3 is to N5. 1 is to 3 is to 5. N1 is to N3 is to N5. 1 is to 3 is to 5. Therefore the conclusion is that the ratios of harmonics in closed tube are ratios of odd numbers starts from 1, that is 1 is to 3 is to 5. Then the frequency of xth harmonic in closed tube, provided x is odd. Only for odd number, if x is odd, then we get that value of harmonic. Only odd number harmonics are existing. Therefore xth harmonic of the closed tube, if x is odd, is given by nx is equal to x into v divided by 4L. Okay. Provided x is odd. Suppose x is 7, x is 9, x is 11. Only odd number of harmonics are possible. If x the odd number, nx is equal to x into v by 4L. Next one is important. Suppose I would like to write the expression for y-th overtone. What is the frequency of y-th overtone? Suppose first overtone becomes third harmonic. 2 into 1 plus 1 is 3. Second overtone becomes fifth harmonic, 2 into 2 plus 1. Similarly, yth overtone is 2 into y plus 1th harmonic, 2y plus 1th harmonic. Yth overtone is given by 2y plus 1th harmonic, 2y plus 1th harmonic, 2y plus 1 into v by 4n. Xth harmonic, provided x is odd, is x into v by 4n. Yth overtone of closed tube is 2y plus into v by 4n. So this is about the formation of harmonics in closed pipe. Let us move on to the application of this one, that is frequencies of pipes with end correction. Suppose let us consider a closed pipe. Let this be a closed pipe having length L. Actually length of this closed pipe is L. We know about the closed pipe, which is open at one end and closed at other end is a closed pipe. Because of the attraction force among the molecules at the end of the pipe, the restoring force also developed to a point just above the closed end. Therefore, there is a possibility of forming antinode just above. Here we may observe the antinode. Antinode, strictly consider, practically consider the position of antinode. It does not exactly at the position of end of the tube. It may be considered at some height above the end of the tube. Here at this position there is a possibility of forming antinode. This is known as the end correction E. The end correction E is the position of antinode in practical condition is just above. If you consider this is the the end of the pipe, this is the end position of the pipe, then the antinode position is just above the end position of the pipe. That is said to be end correction. Approximately the end correction is 0.6 times the radius of the tube. The tube is in form of cylindrical shape. The radius of the cylindrical shape, let it be smaller. Then end correction is the position of antinode above the end of the tube. Let it be 0.6 r. Then therefore the total length of the tube is actually considered to be L plus E. In fact, E is the height above which the antinode is forming. Therefore, total length of vibrating column is the actual length plus end correction. Total length of vibrating column of a tube of a closed pipe is actual length plus end correction, L plus E. Therefore, the fundamental frequency is N1 is equal to V by 4L dash is the correct formula. Practically considering the end correction V by 4L dash, therefore N1 is equal to V divided by 4 into L dash is L plus E. Numerically E is 0.6 r. So strictly speaking, strictly considering, this is the expression for fundamental frequency of closed pipe. So let us move on to the open pipe. In case of open pipe, the tube is like this. So as I explained, the antinode point is end corrected value just above the end correction value. So similarly, below this tube, the antinode may be formed. We know that at each free end there is antinode. So this antinode is formed at E below. At the top, antinode is formed E above. Therefore, the total length of the tube L dash is actual length is E, L plus E and E. 2E is the extension of antinodes, E above and E below. So L plus 2E is the length of vibrating column. When we extend the length of vibrating column up to the formation of antinodes at the top and at the bottom, at the top E above L value and at the bottom E below the L value. So total length of the vibrating column becomes L plus 2E. Therefore, the fundamental frequency, the total length of vibrating column, L plus E above and below, and corrections are added. So N1 is equal to V by 2L is the actual fundamental frequency. Now it becomes V by 2L dash. So it becomes V by 2 into L dash is L plus 2E. This is the expression including end correction. Okay. So let us move on to the resonance column operators. Resonance column operators is one application of the closed tube, which is very much useful to find out the velocity of the sound in atmosphere as well as velocity of the sound at room temperature. So let us move on to the resonance column operators. Resonance column operators mainly consisting of a closed tube. So water is filled up to this level. This is the closed tube. Suppose in first mode of vibration, this is the water level. Water is filled up to here, and in least mode of frequency, that is fundamental mode of vibration, this is water filled. With the help of reservoir connected to it, we fill the water, and let this length including end correction is L1 plus E, and we vibrate a tuning fork, we excite a tuning fork of known frequency N, okay, kept above the open end of the closed tube, and stationary waves are formed in this tube. And for this one we know that this velocity, this length of the air column is, let L1 be the length of the air column with including end correction L1 plus E. This is the distance between antinode and node. So in first mode of vibration, in fundamental mode, length of air column is L1 including end correction L1 plus E. Let it be equal to lambda 1 by 4. L1 plus E is equal to lambda 1 by 4, as same tuning fork is vibrating in all possible cases. Lambda 1 is also equal to lambda, that is L1 plus E is lambda by 4. Let it be equation 1. Next, vibrate the same tuning fork of same frequency, but reduce the water level so that air column length increases. In next mode of vibration, here water column length decreases to this value. So vibrating air column length increases. Then the stationary wave pattern is formed in next mode. So we know that this is 3 lambda by 4. This is antinode, node. So lambda by 4. Node and antinode, second lambda by 4. Antinode and node, third times. This is one pair of lambda by 4. This is second pair of lambda by 4. This is third pair of lambda by 4. Therefore, total length of the air column now becomes L2. This is the length of air column. Air column length, let it be extended to L2 now, including end correction above the open end, L2 plus E is equal to 3 lambda by 4. Lambda is same as frequency, same tuning fork of same N value is excited, and resonating column water level is adjusted, increase the length of air column. Then length of air column becomes L2 plus E at resonance condition, that is 3 lambda by 4. Now, to find the end correction, there are two possibilities. To find the end correction, replace lambda by 4 with first equation, let it be 2. Therefore, L2 plus E is equal to 3 into lambda by 4. Replace lambda by 4 with L1 plus E. Then we write L2 minus 3L1 is equal to 3E minus E, that is 2E. So with the help of this formula, if L1 is the first resonating column length, L2 is the second resonating column length, then L2 minus 3L1 is equal to twice the end correction, so that we can find at what height antinode is approximately forming. End correction will be calculated. If you neglect the value of end correction, then L2 is approximately 3L1. So strictly speaking, L2 is equal to 3L1 plus 2E. So L2 is slightly greater than 3L1, approximately around 3L1. So L2 is around 3L1 and slightly greater than 3L1. So once we know the initial position of resonating column, we expect the second resonating column just above the 3 times L1. This is the way. Next, to find the velocity of sound. Actually, we would like to find velocity of sound Here we have L1 plus E is equal to lambda 1 by 4 and L2 plus E is equal to 3 lambda by 4, and we know that V is equal to n lambda. So n lambda, this is the expression, velocity of the sound is equal to n lambda. N is equal to V by lambda 1. So here lambda 1 is equal to 4 into, here in order to find out the velocity of sound, we take the ratio of these two equations. In spite of subtracting, take the ratio of the two equations, while taking the ratio of the two equations, we get, or subtracting the two equations, we get L2 plus E by, so just subtract the two equations on both sides, that is L2 plus E minus of L1 plus E. Just subtract the first equation from second equation. We get L2 plus E minus of L1 plus E is equal to 3 lambda by 4 minus lambda by 4. 3 lambda by 4 minus lambda by 4 means 2 lambda by 4. 2 lambda by 4 is equal to lambda by 2. So we get lambda is equal to 2 into L2 minus L1. We know that V is equal to n lambda, lambda is equal to V by n. So V by n is equal to 2 into L2 minus L1. On cross multiplying, we get V is equal to 2n into L2 minus L1. This is the very important formula to find the velocity of the sound by using resonant column operators. So the tuning fork is in resonance at length L1 first time, and second time when we increase the length of the air column by reducing the water column length, second resonating column length becomes L2, then velocity of the sound becomes V is equal to 2n into L2 minus L1. In this way we calculate the velocity of the sound at a given temperature. So let us move on to the concept of beats now. This is the very important and interesting topics. So here in this image you are observing two sound waves of nearly equal frequencies. Two sound waves of nearly equal but not equal. They differ by small length. So two sound waves of nearly equal frequencies. For example, you suppose one is 380 Hz, another one may be 382 Hz. Very small difference. So let us consider two sound waves of nearly equal frequencies traveling in the medium at the same time through same point. They interfere each other. During this interference of these two nearly equal frequencies of sound waves, we are observing a regular loud sound and less loudness. Loudness sound and soft sounds are observed at regular intervals of time, one after another, periodically. At one time we observe a loud sound, at other time a small time difference. We observe a sound of less intensity. So regular loudness sound is waxing, less loudness sound is waning. So at regular intervals of time we hear waxing and waning of sound with constant time differences. This regular waxing and waning of the sound is said to be a beat. So when two sound waves of nearly equal frequencies, let us observe, this is not equal, they are not equal. Don't consider as they are equal, not equal but nearly equal frequencies approach your ear as shown in the diagram. The alternating constructive and destructive. Here we are observing constructive at this position. At this position we are observing destructive. So the alternating constructive known as waxing of sound, louded sound, destructive waning of the sound, less intensity sound of interference causes the sound to be alternately loud and loud soft. Loudness is more and loudness is less, waxing and waning. This phenomena is called beating and this produces beats. So to have regular waxing and waning at equal time differences, we observe a loud and loud sound. High loud sound, low loud sound. High intensity, low intensity of sound is observed at regular intervals of time. This pair of waxing and waning is said to be one beat. This phenomena is known as beating, and it is very effective for listening. In music, wonderful sounds are produced. Very good audible, interesting sounds are produced by musicians with the help of this phenomenon. That is known as a mixing of nearly equal frequencies through a medium at the same time. A periodically waxing and waning, high intensity, low intensity sounds are produced. So this is said to be a high intensity sound. This is loudness. Loud sound is here. We are observing a loud sound. Here low intensity sound. Loud less, low intensity. This is waxing and this is waning. Periodically at equal time differences we are observing one waxing and waning. This is known as the beat. And here we are observing the beat. So at the origin, let us observe, or at some position here, when these two are out of phase, we are observing waning. When they are in same phase, we observe the waxing. So at the same time we are observing, this is waning because of opposite interfere values. Here waxing because in phase interfere values. At some position they are interfere in opposite phase. So at this time we are observing low intensity, are known as waning. At this position we are observing same phase, hence waxing. Like that our ear, suppose you are here, your ear is here, you are receiving a waning sound now. After that sometime you are observing waxing sound now. Let us assume your ear is here, then suppose at this instant you are hearing low sound, and at equal time difference you are observing a waxing louder sound, and after same interval of difference you are observing a waning sound, and if you wait for same interval of time you are observing a waxing. So when two nearly equal frequencies of sound traveling in a medium reaches our ear, then there is a possibility of interfering them at sometimes in phase so that waxing is produced, at sometimes out of phase so that waning is produced. This waxing and waning constitute a beat. Then the results of the beat, I explained the phenomena by using an image as well as by using an animation. Now the frequency of resultant sound would be the average of two original frequencies. Suppose if F1 is the frequency of one sound, F2 is the frequency of another sound, F1 is slightly more than F2, they are close but not equal, slightly more, F1 is slightly more, as explained. Suppose F1 is 282, F2 is 280, let F1 be 282 for example, F2 is 280, then F1 is 2H more than F2. When two nearly equal frequencies superimpose to each other, then beat is formed. Then frequency of resultant sound is F. That frequency of resultant sound is F1, average value is F1 plus F2 by 2. This is the resultant sound wave frequency. We get a resultant sound wave of frequency F1 plus F2 by 2. And second point is the amplitude or intensity. We know that the square of amplitude is intensity. The amplitude or intensity of the combined signal would rise and fall. So rising means loudness, falling means low intensity. We are regularly at constant time differences. We observe the high intensity and low intensity, the rise of sound and fall of intensity at FB. So this is at constant time difference. So that there is a frequency for the beat, formation of beat, means waxing and waning constitute a beat. So the frequency at which the beats are formed is frequency of beat is F1 minus F2, where when you assume F1 is greater than F2. These are the two important formulas. Let us go on to mathematical analysis derivation of beat frequency and average frequency of resultant sound wave, beat frequency. These values to be derived. So let us see this derivation. Consider only the time dependent and not. So let us consider origin. At origin, the sound waves are crossing. We are observing sound waves are crossing the origin. Then this first sound wave, origin means x is 0. When x is 0, it is only in function of t. Actually, any sound wave, y displacement y is a function of x and t. For simplicity, let us assume the displacement of vibrating sound wave at origin, because our ear is at origin. Two nearly equal frequencies are generated. Two nearly equal frequencies are generated. They are received by our ear. Let our ear be at origin. So we are not changing x. We are not moving. We are at the same position. So our ear is at origin. Sound waves are reaching our ear. So x is 0. Only y1, y2 are in function of time. That's why as receiving position is constant, as well as let it be origin, so that it is only in function of time, then the displacement of first sound wave is a cos omega 1 into t, and displacement of second sound wave, let this be the displacement of second sound wave, a cos omega 2 into t. As I explained earlier, to observe the phenomena of beats, they must be differ by very narrow value. That's why omega 1, omega 2 are differ. They are not equal. So that we are writing omega 1, omega 2. Omega 1 is greater than omega 2. Of course, omega 1 is 2 pi f1. We know it. And omega 2 is 2 pi f2. Such that f1 greater than f2. So that omega 1 greater than omega 2. These two are produced at the same time, and they traveling the same medium and reaching the same point. Our ear be the receiving point at the origin. X is not changing. Then when these two waves are superimposed, we continue the derivation with mathematical approach, analytical derivation. So omega 1 s is equal to, when they superimposed at our ear, in the ear two sound waves are superimposed to produce a resultant sound wave. So resultant sound wave displacement is s1 plus s2 according to principle of superposition. When two or more waves meet at a point simultaneously, the resultant displacement is vector sum of the displacements. So s is equal to s1 plus s2. So add these two equations. In it a is common, they are of same amplitude. A common, cos of omega 1t plus cos of omega 2t. So here apply the formula cos c plus cos d. It becomes cos of c minus d by 2, 2 cos c minus d by 2 into cos c plus d by 2. Cos c plus cos d is 2 cos c minus d by 2 into cos c plus d by 2 is the well known expression. So that it becomes 2a cos c minus d by 2 means omega 1t minus omega 2t. So omega 1 minus omega 2 into t whole divided by 2. Similarly, cos c plus d by 2. So cos of omega 1 plus omega 2 into t whole divided by 2. This is the modified resultant superposition wave. According to principle of superposition, this is the s value. Here, the omega 1 plus omega 2 by 2. Here we are observing omega 1 plus omega 2 by 2. This is the frequency of resultant sound wave. We receive a resultant sound wave with a constant frequency. Frequency means number of oscillations reaching or producing in 1 second. So number of oscillations made in 1 second by the resultant wave is omega 1 plus omega 2 by 2. Let it be average value. So the average angular frequency is omega 1 plus omega 2 by 2. So in the resultant displacement of sound wave, the second term is cos omega a into t, where omega a is the average frequency of received sound wave or resultant sound wave. Resultant sound wave is received by our ear. So resultant frequency of received sound wave is omega a, that is omega 1 plus omega 2 by 2, Of course, it is slightly less than omega 1 and slightly greater than omega 2, because omega 1 is slightly more than omega 2. So, almost equal to omega 1. Suppose 282 and 280 means 281. That's why I am saying slightly less than higher value and slightly more than lower value. The average value is like that, almost equal to omega 1. So, we get a resultant sound wave of frequency omega 1 plus omega 2 by 2, let it be omega. So, we replace second term by cos of omega a into t. Omega a is given by this omega 1 plus omega 2 by 2. This is the frequency of resultant sound wave. So, next, what is about amplitude of resultant sound wave? This is the amplitude function. This is amplitude of resultant sound wave. This is the interesting point, students. From this point, we get the phenomena of beats. We understand the concept of beats. So, this is said to be amplitude of resultant sound wave. So, here amplitude of resultant sound wave, here I write that amplitude as 2a cos omega b into t. Here the amplitude of resultant sound wave, is 2a cos omega 1 minus omega 2 by 2 into t. Okay. This omega 1 minus omega 2 by 2 is omega b. Let it be omega b. Omega 1 minus omega 2 by 2, let it be omega b. Then the ultimate expression is 2a cos omega b into t. Here we would like to continue this derivation to get the beat frequency. This amplitude is maximum. So, A is maximum, A becomes maximum amplitude, that is 2A. That is, loudness is very high. We receive a sound wave of more loudness, more intensity when amplitude is 2A. Amplitude is 2A when this cos function is plus or minus 1. This cos function is plus or minus 1. That is possible when omega 1 minus omega 2 by 2 into t is equal to either 0 or pi or 2 pi or 3 pi or integral multiple of some n pi. N is integer. Pi, 2 pi, 3 pi are integral multiples of pi. For those values, this is maximum. So, integral multiples of n pi, for any integral multiple of pi value, we get maximum value of amplitude. That is, to here we get waxy, high intensity sound wave is audible for us when this cos function is 1, omega 1 minus omega 2 by 2 into t is that integral multiple of pi. The difference in that value, so omega 1 minus omega 2 by 2 is 2 pi into n1 minus n2 by 2 into t is equal to n pi. Okay, understand? Then 2 get cancelled here, pi also get cancelled. Then time for which we get a maximum value, n is integer, starts from 0, n by n1 minus n2. So first time we get maximum value at t1, which is equal to 0 seconds, n is 0. Next time we get maximum value, suppose at a time n1 minus n2, 1 by n1 minus n2. Next time we get maximum value at 2 by n1 minus n2. Next time we get maximum value at 3 by n1 minus n2. Then time interval between two successive maximum means second minus first, or third minus second, or fourth minus third, and so on. So time interval to get maximum value is from this difference between any two successive values, 1 by n1 minus n2. This is the time interval to get two successive maximum. This is the time period of beats. Students, this is said to be time period of beats, time interval between two successive maximum. The reciprocal of time period of beats is beat frequency. The beat frequency is reciprocal of time period, that is N1 minus N2. So N1 minus N2 is known as the beat frequency. So frequency of beats, already in definition I gave this value, now I derived this value. The beat frequency is N1 minus N2, provided N1 is greater than N2. So that if two sound waves of nearly equal frequencies, one sound wave, let this blue one be F1, sound wave of frequency F1, and the red colored wave is of frequency of F2, they are given simultaneously, produced simultaneously. Here we are receiving sound into our ear, then we are receiving maximum and minimum sound alternatively. Distance between two successive sound time intervals is 1 by N1 minus N2, then beat frequency is N1 minus N2, that is number of beats heard in 1 second. Number of beat, one maximum and one minimum considered together a beat. Number of such maximum and minimum amplitude sounds, that is louded sounds, maximum louded, minimum louded, maximum intensity, minimum intensity. That maximum minimum intensity sound is considered as one beat, amplitude is changing. The time interval between successive beats is 1 by N1 minus N2. Then number of beats heard in 1 second is beat frequency. That number of beats heard in 1 second is N1 minus N2. So this is about beat frequency. Let us move on to some problems belongs to this concepts. A pipe open at both ends has a fundamental frequency F in A. Let us have a pipe open at both ends. Students, pipe is open at both ends, have fundamental frequency F. So F is equal to V by 2L. We know that fundamental frequency. The pipe is dipped vertically in water so that half of it is in water. Same pipe is dipped in water. So here the length of the air column now becomes L by 2 because half of the pipe is dipped in water. Therefore, the length of the vibrating, this is water, this is completely filled with water. So the vibrating column length L by 2, moreover it becomes a closed pipe now. This is a closed pipe now. Now open pipe becomes the closed pipe with a length L by 2. The fundamental frequency of air column. Let F dash be the fundamental frequency of this modified air column. It becomes a closed pipe. For closed pipe V by 4L is fundamental frequency. V by 4 L dash is L by 2. So it becomes V by 2L. That is the fundamental frequency of open pipe. It remains unaltered in these adjustments. So let us move on to the next problem. Belongs to the beats, interesting problem. Two tuning forks when sounded together produces 4 beats per second. So beat frequency is 4. Beat frequency means if N1 is more, N1 minus N2 is equal to 4. If N2 is more, N2 minus N1 is equal to 4. Both are, we have possibility depending upon N1 and N2. N1 and N2 are two nearly equal frequency sound waves. Suppose N1 is more, N1 minus N2 is 4. N2 is more, N2 minus N1 is 4. We have to select the appropriate the condition from these two. For that, let us move on to the given condition. The frequency of one fork is 256. The number of beats here increases. So frequency of one fork, let it be N1. N1 is 256. Let it be N1. The number of beats here increases. This is the important condition. Number of beats here increases when the fork of 256, that is N1, is loaded. If N1 is loaded, this is the condition we have to adapt it. N1 is loaded. N1 is loaded. The frequency, the number of beats increases. FB increases. When N1 is loaded, actually loading N1 reduces its frequency. Loading of any Turing fork reduces frequency. So N1 decreases by loading, bit frequency increases. N1 decreases, bit frequency increases. So observe these two, which is correct. By reducing N1, difference is increasing. So this is wrong. Here if N1 decreases, N1 minus N2 also decreases. If you consider this case, as N1 decreases, difference increases. This is the result in which N1 decreases, N2 minus N1 is. So this is the correct relation. So we consider N2 minus N1 is equal to 4. N2 becomes N1 plus 4. N1 is 256 plus 4, that is 260 Hz is the bit N2 value. So this is the interesting problem, students. In this way we move on to the problems in bits. Students, today we discussed the concept of the closed tube, harmonics of closed tube. Only odd number of harmonics are found in the closed tube. Odd number multiples of V by 4L is the frequency of closed tube, and end connected formulas for them. And one important application of the closed tube to calculate velocity of the sound in resonance column operators method. And we discussed one very important concept of beats as well as mathematical analysis of beats, and problems belongs to the beats. So concept of beats are used in producing a good sound, wonderful sound, and also use it to identify some dangerous gases in mines. The concept of beats is also useful to find the presence of dangerous gases in mines, and to check the flaws or any holes or cracks in the material. We use the concept of beats, and we solve the numerical belongs to beats and closed pipe. Students, I hope you followed it very well. Thank you for watching. Thank you very much.